let's talk about the telescope shooting story. Can you tell me that story?
Yes. So people are listening going, the telescope shooting story, but this is real. So when I interviewed all of my colleagues, I always asked them, what is your favorite astronomy story that you totally heard this one time at a conference that might be half true? And I was asking them, like, what's the weird version of this story? Like, you totally can't vouch for it, but it's a tale that's gotten told and retold and evolved in the field and become one of those like wacky legends that we tell in astronomy. And the most common answer by far was, do you have the one about the telescope that got shot? And I had a lot of fun piecing together the full true story of this, but there is in fact a telescope that got shot. It was in Texas, and it was at the time a fairly new telescope that had been built at this observatory. That was, people would call it the 107-inch telescope, because that 107-inch number referred to how wide the main telescope mirror was from end to end. With the telescope, everything very literally revolves around the size of the mirror, because the bigger the mirror is, the more light you can gather and the more powerful the telescope is. So you'll call something like, oh, that's the 3-meter telescope or the 1-meter telescope, or in this case, the 107-inch. And the story goes that an observatory employee at Texas was a little bit disgruntled and possibly on some substances he shouldn't have been on one evening, and became hell-bent one evening on destroying the 107-inch telescope. So he went storming in with a handgun, and fortunately nobody was hurt in this story, but he drew the gun and said, lower the telescope, because the telescope at the time was pointed up at the sky. So they lowered it as low as they could, listening to the guy with the gun, and he wanted to fire the gun down the sort of barrel of the telescope to shoot and destroy the primary mirror. And they lowered the telescope. He fired 6 shots into the mirror. But when you picture a telescope mirror, don't picture something like the mirror on your bathroom wall. A telescope mirror is a huge, heavy chunk of glass. It's made of the same stuff that like a Pyrex dish in your kitchen is made of, but it's about 1.5 feet thick. So shooting bullets into a 1.5 feet thick piece of Pyrex is kind of like throwing darts at a dartboard. And the bullets just kind of went thunk and stuck and embedded in the glass. So he was deeply underwhelmed with this result. He started to try and go at the mirror with a hammer. At some point, he was subdued. The sheriff was called and he was led away. But the damage to the mirror was amazingly really tiny. They were able to just dig out the bullets and then paint over the holes and keep observing. And the joke was, well, there's a couple little empty bits in the mirror now. So maybe instead of a 107-inch mirror, it's like a 106-inch mirror, but it's probably fine. The only problem was that word got out into the community that the telescope had gotten shot. And by the time the story had circulated, there was this fear of like, my God, it's been destroyed. It had bullets shot into it. Isn't the telescope completely shattered and done for? And the director of the observatory had to put out this announcement to the community. And usually when people put out community announcements, it was things like, we found a new supernova in this galaxy, someone should go follow it up. Or we saw this star do something interesting, someone should check it out. And this announcement comes out reassuring people, yeah, we're fine. The harm from the bullets was extraordinarily small. The mirror will continue working flawlessly and we're still using it now. So it absolutely became this legend of the telescope that got shot. And chapter 5 of The Last Stargazers is now titled The Harm from the Bullets Was Extraordinarily Small, because it's got to be one of the best astronomy announcements that's ever gotten circulated.
Yeah, that's so crazy that it was just able to, it just, took it down an inch basically. Like it's still fine, really.
They're still there. The mirrors get taken down every few years to be sort of recoated. We'll coat our telescope mirrors. They're big chunks of glass, but we coat them with a thin layer of aluminum so that they're nice and reflective. And every few years, you'll take a mirror out to sort of clean it and recoat the aluminum. And when you do, you can see the bullet holes are still there.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like they have it in Disneyland at the Haunted Mansion. Some kid took a BB gun and shot a window, and it's like super hard for them to replace it for some reason. So they just stuck like a spider web over it or a sticker spider on top of it, and it's fine.
Yeah, it's still working. It's good.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. This is my dog, Murphy, and these are dog treats. Now I'll give Murphy one of these dog treats, and all you have to do is press the like button. Just press that little like button right down there at the bottom of this video, and this sweet, adorable, cute little puppy gets a treat. All thanks to you. All right, you did it? Okay, I believe you if you said you did it. There you go, Murph. She got that treat because of you. Now, I'll eat one of these treats, and all you have to do is click that subscribe button right there, pointing to it. Just click that subscribe button, subscribe to Curiosityness with me, Travis DeRose. Get lots of good video, and I'll eat this treat. All right, you did that too? That's not very good. Bro, not very good.